When we hear about the person who is betrayed, we can feel their anguish, their pain. I've even empathized with them. But when we hear about the betrayer, our first reaction is, how could they? This is what we are going to decode on what and why the betrayer's mind feels and does what it does. Not from the angle of morality versus immorality, but through the lens of psychology. In my earlier reels also I have mentioned that human beings have two emotional systems. One that asks for safety, familiarity, rhythm, a feeling of belongingness. Marriage or long-term relationships support this very well. And this is the primary reason that we settle down for a long-term relationship, because it gives us a feeling of safety. It's also one of our primary needs. But human beings have another emotional system, a dopamine-driven novelty-seeking system. This particular emotional system isn't as strong or primal as the safety, but when activated can override almost everything. So, in the start of a relationship, both of the systems are active. You have a feeling of anticipation and yet a feeling of familiarity. There's a feeling of what's gonna come, and yet you know that everything will be fine. A beautiful mixture of novelty and the familiarity. And then, as you settle down into long-term relationships, the dopamine-driven system becomes a little less intense. Not because love or passion has gone anywhere, but because responsibilities increase. There are EMIs, aging parents, and kids to take care of. So the relationship may seem more functional than emotional. The talks become more like about logistics rather than talking about how was your day and what did you go through. Slowly you feel that the love, care and compassion is there. But you are not really heard or seen. You are cared for, loved for, but not pursued. So life just goes on. And then suddenly, someone enters your life. That person hears you out, is curious about you, even laughs at your jokes, and pursues you emotionally. This is where the affairs begin. People presume it is about sex. Not really. That's a part of it, but not the main part. Believe me, it starts with people feeling alive, re-energized, awakened, heard again. This is where affairs happen and start. Most people who have affairs will have another problem. They tell me that they yet love their original or long-term partner the same. So here a very complicated thing happens. The person compartmentalizes their two lives. They will yet show up as a good partner, as a responsible parent, as a responsible in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, and will take care of everything. And on the other hand, will also have that passion-driven, crazy love that they feel for. So this is their way of dealing with guilt. Why does this affair feel so intense? Most people who come to me during the affair tell me that they felt a soulmate kind of a connection. I'll tell you exactly why this happens. Two major reasons. First, the dopamine-driven system. Add to it the novelty, the secrecy, the fear of being found out. That adrenaline rush makes it a very toxic substance which is as heady as an alcohol. You don't want to get out of that. And another, most affairs happen in a vacuum. Beyond your aging parents, beyond your EMIs, beyond your mounting debts. So anything that happens in a vacuum may seem like larger than life. This is the reason that people in the affair defend their affair partner and will yet continue their relationship until the steam is run out. Not because they love their partner less or they don't feel guilty. This is the major reason. And then the crash happens and you are in the midst of the mess that you have created. Here also I find two major emotional operating systems. One is severe self-loathing, guilt, what have I done? And the other that I find has guilt and some kind of shame, but will cover up with blame shifting or gaslighting their partners. I was pushed into it. It just happened and they forced me into it. All of these will happen. In both of these cases, the shame and guilt is there, is the way I am presenting it. And then there's another problem. They might realize that in this mess, they have either lost their relationship and or if the relationship will persist, now they are dealing with a hyper vigilant, ever alert, non-trusting partner. The partner sees them differently. The kid sees them differently. The family sees them differently. They themselves sees themselves differently. It's a major, major change. Patients who come to me at this time tell me that, ma'am, you know that I'm apologetic and I'm sorry, but what more can I do? And they get frustrated when this topic keeps coming back into their arguments again and again and again. Well, my suggestion to them is that, of course, you will have to work through the self-shame, the loathing and guilt. That part is there. You'll also have to work through rebuilding that safety net and trust again. Remember, before this betrayal, you weren't only loved, you were trusted and you were there somebody's safety net. This was broken. One apology will not change it. It has to be rebuilt one brick at a time, patiently, consistently, without giving up. This is the way to gain back your trust in a relationship. I'm a clinical psychologist and you are watching Mental Health Decoded by Dr. Neeta. Stay tuned.